and bankrupt aristocrat buying Rome should be impossible. Yet Julius Caesar funded his rise through crushing debt provided by foreign money changers called argentari. Without these high-interest loans to finance 320 gladiator pairs in silver armor, carved gems, a demolished Nemi villa, and tribal bribery agents called divisares, his political career would have collapsed before reaching highest office. This astronomical spending pushed Caesar to the brink of financial bankruptcy and political liquidation, as private citizens faced immediate debt trials in Rome. However, holding magistrate imperium and serving as Pontifex Maximus granted him essential legal immunity against prosecution. When loan sharks physically detained him in 60 BC before leaving for Hispania Ulterior, Rome's richest senator, Marcus Licinius Crassus, guaranteed his massive fortune to secure an indebted political ally against Pompey. After plundering Hispania to satisfy pressing creditors and forfeiting a military triumph to win the consulship, Caesar's supporters pelted co-consul Bibulus with dung in the Forum in 59 BC, shattering constitutional opposition so Caesar could secure the long-term proconsular command required to permanently outrun his crippling debts. At Bibracte in 58 BC, Julius Caesar monetized battlefield victories by seizing human captives for immediate slave revenue alongside captured Helvetian baggage. He instantly converted captured wealth and prisoners into a battlefield revenue engine. Roman slave traders and tax farmers marched directly alongside Caesar's military baggage train. These commercial syndicates bought captured war prisoners immediately on the spot, turning blood into liquid cash. This market engine expanded dramatically in 57 BC, when the Atuatuci stronghold surrendered after a failed night attack, prompting Caesar to sell all 53,000 survivors into slavery in a single auction lot. Beyond this human traffic, legionaries during the Sabus campaign stripped gold torques, silver vessels, and bronze weapons from fallen Belgae chieftains as military prizes. To secure long-term revenue, defeated tribal chieftains signed submission treaties guaranteeing annual grain deliveries and cash payments directly to his administration. Proceeds from these slave sales were converted into silver coinage and sent under armed military escort to Cisalpine Gaul, paying the interest on Caesar's massive debts in Rome.
Looted Celtic gold crashed Roman markets after Gaius Julius Caesar systematically raided Gaul's sacred sanctuaries. Between 56 BC and 53 BC, Roman forces stripped unfortified sacred groves and holy lakes of untended gold and silver votive offerings. To transport this massive treasure, military engineers set up mobile field foundries that melted priceless Celtic artifacts, torques, and tribal crowns directly into raw bullion ingots. In 52 BC, the plunder escalated. Following the siege of Avaricum, legionaries slaughtered the garrison and looted Central Gaul's richest trade hub. Months later at Alesia, Caesar distributed one Gallic captive to every soldier as a personal slave prize. Vercingetorix surrendered his personal armor, horse, and treasury directly to Caesar. When this massive flood of melted Gallic gold poured back into Italy, the sudden surge destabilized Roman exchange rates and crashed the market price of gold in Rome by 25%, driving the rate from 3,000 sesterces per pound of gold down to 3,000 sesterces per pound of silver equivalent.
Capturing the Roman Senate from afar was impossible without a massive, covert financial network. The overlooked mechanism was transforming foreign war spoils into targeted political bribes. Without his confidential manager, Gaius Oppius, secretly distributing cash and interest-free loans to politicians in Rome, Caesar's influence would have failed, even as he simultaneously poured over 60 million sesterces of Gallic plunder into land for the Forum Julium. By 50 BC, Caesar fully cleared his early political debts to Marcus Licinius Crassus. Pompey watched in terror as Caesar's conquest spoils rivaled his own wealth. To break conservative resistance, Caesar handed consul Lucius Aemilius Paulus a 36 million sesterce bribe. Paulus used the funds to rebuild the Basilica Aemilia. Caesar then cleared the reckless gambling debts of Tribune Gaius Scribonius Curio. Meanwhile, Cicero attempted neutral mediation but remained bound by an unpaid loan of 800,000 sesterces. When conservatives moved to strip Caesar of his military command, the bribed tribune Curio used his veto to block all action unless Pompey simultaneously surrendered his own legions, a tactical maneuver that completely paralyzed Caesar's political enemies and protected his imperium from immediate prosecution.
Julius Caesar bypassed the Roman treasury in 51 BC by permanently doubling legionary base pay using his personal Gallic conquest wealth. He raised annual salaries from 120 silver denarii, or 480 sesterces, directly to 225 silver denarii, totaling 900 sesterces. To lock their loyalty forever, Caesar promised every retiring veteran a massive personal bonus of 20,000 sesterces alongside prime agricultural land grants.
This vast financial incentive meant soldiers no longer depended on the Senate, but entirely on Caesar's political survival. In 50 BC, conservative senator Marcus Porcius Cato saw his chance to destroy his lifelong political rival. As the uncompromising ideological leader of the Optimates, Cato publicly swore that the instant Caesar laid down his military command and re-entered Rome as a private citizen, he would prosecute him for extortion, illegal war-making, and past financial irregularities. By refusing all legal compromise, Cato forced a fatal standoff. Caesar's legionaries realized that if their commander fell, their pensions and promised land would vanish. To protect their cash, the legions had to protect Caesar. An impoverished patrician officer stepped onto the Senate floor to protect Caesar's vast financial patronage and debt shielding. Elected tribune of the plebs in 50 BC, Mark Antony replaced Curio to enforce Caesar's political vetoes against aggressive enemies. On January 7, 49 BC, the Roman Senate sprung a legal trap by passing the Senatus Consultum Ultimum, declaring Caesar a public enemy and demanding he disband his armies immediately or face civil war. Cornered by this sudden decree, Caesar responded on the night of January 10 to 11, 49 BC, leading the 13th Legion across the Rubicon River to cross the border from Cisalpine Gaul into Italy, while uttering the famous phrase, Alia Iacta Est. By marching directly on Rome, Caesar secured far more than military honor. Crossing that river protected his personal dignitas and vital legal immunity. Most importantly, it safeguarded his massive empire of private wealth and financial patronage built entirely from Gallic plunder.